In this video, we will be installing a light inside the center glove box compartment. So as you can see, even in daylight, it gets a little bit dark back here. Here are the items we'll be using in this video. Here we have two LED light assemblies, three types of switches, two of which work when released, allows power through. One of them, it's when it's pushed, allows power through. All of these combined costed a little more than $12 Canadian. So I didn't consider this too much of an expense. I figured I'm going to have more than enough with these parts here to decide how to place this. Also, an old cassette box. You can use pretty much anything you like. The only reason I'm keeping this is to cut out a protection plate which will go over the LEDs. The reason being is for the placement of the LEDs within the glove box. I figure this way there's less chance of damaging the LEDs when tossing stuff in the glove box. So I'm thinking to install the LEDs, a nice place would be right under here, running down like this, up against the edge underneath here. This way it should light up here without blinding you. I think you could also do it in the back here, but should you look here, you would probably get the flash in the eyes, and at night it's not a good thing. I will probably end up putting the switches somewhere in this back area here, centered. All the switches, you can adjust the heights, so it doesn't matter really where you put it. You can adjust the height so that the glove box activates or deactivates depending on the type of switch you have. I will be installing the light on a power that works with the key, so should there be any problem with the light not turning off, with the ignition off, the light would automatically be off, so you don't have to worry about killing the battery. To attach this protecting shield that we just cut out, I prefer to use, as usual, some type of marine silicone. Reason being is it's easily removed if needed, it's waterproof, and it holds pretty solid. I plan on soldering the ends of the wires to the switch so that once it's placed I don't have to worry about it disconnecting. But you can find terminals instead that you crimp onto the wire and then push into the switch itself. Now we test with the ohm meter. As you see, this would be with the glove box open. There's no resistance, so power would flow through. When you close the box, the idea is it closes up here and turns off the power to the LEDs. As I said, we want to test to make sure everything is working fine. All I did was take an adapter from an old printer, router, or something, I don't know. And all you do is on one side, hold and just tap. As we saw by the flash, it is working. For myself personally, I believe the best place to put the plunger will be here in the middle. Now, if you notice, your glove box goes in, I would say almost an inch, and this comes up approximately 3/4 of an inch. Now, to figure out the distance between here and the surface here, the easiest way to do this is pick up some Play-Doh from a dollar store, wrap it in some plastic, and place it in between, and just close the glove box to see your height and just measure it after. Now, because it's 1 inch from the end, when we close the glove box, it would make sort of a curve like this as it comes down, and you want something to press on the switch without jamming against the switch. What I decided to do is I went out and bought myself a simple knob for a drawer. It was like $1.99, and I can trim it down as I need it. And the idea is to place this here after measuring carefully so that it's centered, and when it comes down it will slide on the switch. This also, in a way, you can adjust the height, so that's not a problem. So we have a way of adjusting the height of this. So to get to the rear area of the glove box where we want to put the switch, which is approximately 1 inch in from here, we got to remove the bezel around this head unit and heated seat controls. Very simply, there's 4 tabs holding this bezel approximately in these locations. So you go in with your screwdriver, nice and easy, and as soon as you got one side popped out, you can work around to get the rest. So here we have it. Now you just let it hang down. You don't need to detach any of the wires. Now in the back, you'll notice right here is a piece of plastic that sticks out. It's thin plastic. This will have to be ground out. And there we have it. So it's all gone, the piece that I wanted gone. It's pretty much flush. As you can see, it's marked off straight using a straight edge. And now I'm just going to place myself in a little bit, roughly maybe a 1/4 inch. And as we mentioned earlier, I need to drill a 5/8 hole for the switch itself. So I measured the distance from the back where the inner curve is here to the edge of the other side of this. I got 2.5 inches. So going by the measurement, the inner curve is literally under this. There is no space in between. So I opted to drill my hole here to avoid running into the metal here of the hinge. So my hole, if you look, will be before the curve. I could say with confidence it's going to be somewhere between these two lines. in all likelihood roughly here. So again, before drilling, be absolutely sure of where you are drilling. You do not want to get into the metal because it's going to be a harder drill. Plus it would give you, how can I put it, like a gap for your switch, so it will not tighten the way you probably want it to. So I'm preparing the drill and we'll go further. A little side note, all the plastic trim here has to be removed because of the metal hinge, which makes it too deep for the switch. Nice and easy with the Dremel. It's not a race. Remove all the plastic down here. It won't show. And you can even go forward a bit here because it's a double layer. So nice and easy, remove the plastic with your Dremel. Again, slow and carefully. Even after removing the plastic, is still not enough room for the threads to thread the lock nut. So I'm going to use epoxy instead, seeing how technically this piece is just sitting there anyway. So I used JB plastic bonder. I placed on the underside and on the top side, but I have the lid putting pressure on the switch, so I don't want to remove this yet. But all I did was I placed some of the plastic bond under the chrome cap so it's hidden. While we wait for the plastic bonder to dry for the switch, we can start fishing for the wire. All you have to do, and sorry for the mess in here, is remove your cup holder, grab your tray from one side or the other, and while forcing this way against the tray, lift up on one corner. So there, it pops up, lift towards the back, and then pull out at an angle like that. And that's all it is. Now myself, I already have a power supply here. You will need to find one or fish one from your fuse block location here on the side, or from down below here. The choice is yours. Behind this panel is more power supplies, wiring, etc. So this I leave up to you. Myself, it's been already done from another project. I have my stiff wire. You can use a coat hanger if you like. Anything works. I just want to show you what it is. Like I said, a coat hanger would work too. And I'm just going to fish it through and then pull the wire back out. So I first go in this way. I attach the wire back here. And then I pull it back out this way. Just so you have an idea how far in you gotta go. From the outside, I check my length. So technically I should get to about here when the wire pops out. So I'm just gonna make a little bend here so that I got an idea of how far in I'm in. If I don't see the wire by the time I reach the bend, well, of course that means the wire's not going where I want it to. So now back here we can close it up. Very simple. I already vacuumed inside. So all you have to do is bring this up and push in till it snaps. Line yourself up, nice and easy. Now in preparation for the second half, I marked off the center on the back part of the lid, and I measured from the edge here to approximately the center of this, which gives me about 1.5 inches. So if I measure up, that brings me roughly here. I decided to bring our old friend Play-Doh out and place a gob on top of the switch and close the cover to see where on the cover it goes, to be more accurate. So nice and easy. I don't know if you see it, but there's a round mark right there. So as you can see from my measurement, I wasn't far off. But next we have to drill a hole straight through here, which will come right out on the other side of the glove box. In my case, what I believe is the best way to go about this is to drill a hole through this way, just so I can pass the wire through, and then sideways make a groove so it comes out. The reason being is when we sit the tray back in, I believe that the wall of the tray will rub on this, and we don't want it pinching or breaking the wire in any way. So just realize now, you don't have to drill straight through this way. You could have drilled just sideways like this. Anyway, in my case, it's too late. For those that will be doing this, just drill yourself a hole sideways here or the other side, whichever is more convenient for you. Be careful none of the wires touch before running your test. As I said, I have this working with the key just in case there's a problem and the LEDs do stay on all the time for whatever reason. We know that with the key they will shut off. So once again, power to the LED. Power to the LED, which is the red. From the LED, the black goes to the blue, which goes to our switch back here. Then the black from the switch comes back and grounds itself on the ground over here. Note when you're unscrewing these, the screws are at a slight angle. They're not perfectly straight when they go in. I guess it's to make this plastic cover snug. So here the screws are removed, and it's just to show you how easy this plastic will now come off. Again, unfortunately, I have to hold the camera while doing this. So you just grab here, corner, and give a good tug. There. Now the whole piece just comes right out. Push the latch in so that the plastic pops over it. From our earlier measurement using the Play-Doh, we had 3/4 of an inch height for the switch here. So I'm going to start at 3/4 of an inch, place this, and gently close the lid to make sure it's not forcing it down. And from there, I might need to remove more. So I'm going to start by trimming this down so that we have 3/4 of an inch total height. So here's the knob installed. I did a 3/4 inch knob at first, but when I put it down, there was way too much pressure being put here. I could feel it. So now, just to show what's going to be going on, is I cut it down another 1/8 of an inch, and we're going to see if it closes easy. And the easiest way to tell if it's working properly, everybody has some kind of cell phone with camera or video or a little video camera. Just turn it on, stick it in your glove box, close the lid and see what happens. On an aside, when you close the lid, shake it around like this to see if the light will flicker on or off. If it's flickering on or off, that means your knob here is not long enough. So all you would need to do is space it with a washer. In my case, I think I'm at the right spot, but I'll find out in a second. If it's still too long, you'll know because when you go to close it, you'll feel the pressure. So I'm going to use the phone to see first for the light and then for the pressure. If you look carefully, the screw goes at a slight angle. It doesn't go straight, it's at an angle. So we're going to screw this all in and then we're going to do another test because with the screws this cover will be more snug. Alright, so I'm going to screw everything in and then we'll go to the last test.